So hello sir, good day. I'm Jalion Talan Magdaluyo, and for today, I'm going to discuss about the important concepts of politics, government, political systems, development of states, democracy, human rights, and civil liberties. So the first topic that I'm going to discuss is about the important concepts of politics. So what is politics? So politics is defined as a social structure and methods used to manage a government or state. So politics compromises all the activities of cooperation, negotiation, and conflict within and between societies, and whereby people go about organizing the use, production or distribution of human, and natural and other resources in the course of the production and reproduction of their biological and social life. So the word politics comes from the Greek word polis, which means city-state. So in the ancient world, city-states are small countries regarded as centers of culture and civilization where people interact under a unified government. What transpires in the polis is politics. So the origin of the word therefore suggests that politics is a term encompassing the totality of human activities transpiring within the city-states. As it is applied now, it denotes everything that transpires in the state as well as among the states. Politics is who get what, when, and how. This is a famous definition of Harold Maxwell. The definition underscores the reality of scarcity in the society. While human needs and wants are so diverse and numerous, the resources are always limited. The struggle involved in allocating the scarce of resources and determining what to produce, how to contribute, and use them is said to be politics. Modern political theories conform to this definition as it establishes the unique connection of politics and power. Power creates structures and explains the struggle among individuals or groups. So the basic concept of politics is about order, power, and justice. So the study of politics seeks to study how human life in the aggregate is ordered. So the next topic then I'm going to discuss is about important concepts of government. So what is government? So in a simple definition, government is a group of people that governs a community or the unit. It sets and administers public policy and exercises executive, political, and sovereign power through customs, institutions, and laws within a state. So the government has three branches. So the three branches of government is legislative, executive, and judiciary. So in the legislative branch, an elected group of people who have the power to make and change laws in a state or the country. While in the executive branch, someone in high position who makes decisions and acts according to them. And in the judiciary branch, the part of the country's government that is responsible for its legal system and consists of all the judges and its court of laws. So the government has its responsibilities. So the first responsibility of a government is a government must ensure the security of its people through the means of an effective legislation. A government must form and manage an efficient police force, fair court, justice system, and robust defense force. So the next topic that I'm going to discuss is about important concepts of political system. So what is political system? Political system defines a process for making official government decisions. It is usually compared to the legal systems, economic systems. So according to David Easton, a political system can be designated as interactions through which values are authoritatively located for a society. So each political system is embedded in a society with its own political culture, and they in turn shape their societies through public policy. So political system is used depend upon the nation state. So what is nation? A nation is a people with common customs, origin, history, or language. And the state, on the other hand, is a political entity with legitimate claim to monopolize use force through police, military, and so forth. While in the term nation-state, it refers to a political entity with the legitimate claim to monopolize use of force over a people with common customs, origin, history, or language. While many different political structures have existed throughout history, three major forms exist in modern nation-state. In addition, state is a political organization of society or the body politic or the narrowly the institution of government. The state is a form of human association distinguished from other social groups by its purpose, the establishment of order and security, its method, the laws under enforcement, its territory, the area of jurisdiction of geographic boundaries, and finally by its sovereignty. So the state consists most broadly of the agreement of the individuals and means whereby disputes are settled in the form of laws. So the next topic that I'm going to discuss is about democracy. So what is democracy? Democracy, which derives from the Greek word demos or people, is defined basically as a government in which the supreme power is vested in the people. In some forms of democracy can be exercised directly by the people. In large societies, it is by the people through their elected agent. Or in the memorable phrase of President Abraham Lincoln, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Democracy is indeed a set of ideas and principles about freedom, but it also consists of practices and procedures that have been molded through a long, often tortuous history. Democracy is the institutionalization of freedom. The last topic that I'm going to discuss is all about civil liberties and human rights. So the difference between human rights and civil liberties may be largely semantic. It could be said that human rights are those fundamental rights considered to be universal to all people, while civil liberties, however, may be those rights and freedoms recognized by a particular country. So first, I'm going to define what is civil liberties. So civil liberties are the rights and freedoms that protect an individual from the state and which are underpinned by a country's legal system. Civil liberties are the basic freedoms granted to a country's citizens. They are often defined by law, but including but not limited to human rights law, and evidence in government documentation, and people need not earn civil rights. Citizenship automatically confers them in most cases. Civil liberties prevent governments from abusing their powers and restricts the level of interference in people's lives. So the civil liberties concern basic rights and freedoms that are guaranteed, either explicitly identified in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, or interpreted or inferred through the years by the legislators or the courts. So the civil liberties includes the right to free speech, the right to privacy, the right to remain silent in a police interrogation, the right to be free from unreasonable searches of your home, the right to a fair court trial, and the right to marry. This one is the human rights. So what is human rights? Human rights are standards that allow people to live with dignity, freedom, equality, justice, and peace. Every person has these rights simply because they are human beings. They are guaranteed to everyone without distinct of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Human rights are essential to full development of individuals and communities. So why are human rights important? Human rights give people freedom to choose how they live, how they express themselves, and what kind of government they want to support, among many other things. So, human rights also guarantee people the means of necessity to satisfy their basic needs, such as food, housing, and education, so they can take full advantage of all opportunities. Human rights protect abuse by those who are more powerful. So who are the responsible for upholding human rights? So the government have the primary responsibility for protecting and promoting human rights, but not only the government, but also businesses, civil society, and individuals are responsible for promoting and respecting human rights. So the main types or forms of democracy are first, direct democracy. So what is direct democracy? Direct democracy, it is when citizens get to vote for a policy directly without any intermediate representatives or houses of parliament. The second one is representative democracy or indirect democracy. Indirect democracy, it is when people choose to vote for who will represent them in parliament. This is the most common form of democracy found across the world. It emphasizes on protecting the rights of not only the majority of the people in the state but also the minorities. The third one is presidential democracy. So in presidential democracy, under the presidential democracy, the president of a state has a significant amount of power over the government. He or she is either directly or indirectly elected by citizens of the state. One is parliamentary democracy. A parliamentary democracy is that gives more power to the legislature. The elected legislature or parliament chooses the head of the government or the prime minister and may remove the prime minister at any time by passing a vote of no confidence. So the next one is authoritarian democracy. This is when elites are part of the parliamentary process. The individuals of the state are allowed to vote for their chosen candidate, but regular people cannot enter the elections. Therefore, in the end, it is only the ruling of the elite that decide on various interests of the state's population. And the next one is the participatory democracy. So in the participatory democracy, the exact opposite of the authoritarian democracy. So there are different types of participatory democracy, but all of them yearn to create opportunities for all members of a population to make meaningful contributions to the decision-making process. And the next one is Islamic democracy. It seeks to apply Islamic law to public policies while simultaneously maintaining a democratic framework. And the last one is the social democracy. It aims empowering the state over the mere whims of the new liberal market. They maintain a level of sovereignty and mobility that no government can counter. So that's all for my discussion for the day, sir. I am Jelly Magdaleo, and that's my presentation for my topic for today. Have a good day and God bless.